Tamil Nadu votes on April 19th. Stalin roars, will sweep polls.
Ladies கிட்ட பெரிய இம்பாக்ட் ஏற்படுத்திருக்க மக்கள்கிட்ட ஆனால் டெஃபினட்டாக டிஎம்கே வந்து ஸ்வீப் பண்ணும்.
DMK dismisses Modi factor.
மோடி வந்து எத்தனை தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு வராரோ அவ்வளோ கலவரத்துக்கு டிஎம்கேக்கு ப்ளஸ், இந்த எலெக்ஷனுக்கு எங்களுக்கு ப்ளஸ்.
BJP sets double-digit vote share target. Prime Minister returns to state of war, Tamil Nadu. Can BJP make a mark? Big focus on NewsTrack.
Can the BJP make a mark in perhaps its most difficult state, Tamil Nadu, which has 39 Lok Sabha seats, as part of the Prime Minister's vaunted 400 par mission this election season? What does Tamil Nadu hold for the Bharatiya Janata Party? Can it make a dent? Can it make a mark? Can it open its account? And can it really do what its effort says it possibly and potentially can do? This is the News Track. I'm Shiv. We're going to debate that. First, the headlines. BJP escalates attack on Congress manifesto. JP Nadda accuses the party of communalism. Prime Minister reiterates that the manifesto is an imprint of the Muslim League. Big showdown over NIA team attack during a raid in West Bengal. Trinamool Congress MPs detained outside Election Commission amidst protests demanding action against the BJP. Suspense over Rahul's Amethi fight continues. Sources tell India Today the Congress will announce candidates for both Amethi and Raebareli in UP after the Kerala election. Smriti Irani taunts Rahul, says he questioned Amethi's loyalty. Delhi Liquorgate probe intensifies. Enforcement Directorate summons Aam Aadmi Party's Goa MLA Durgesh Pathak in the probe. Meanwhile, Delhi court denies interim bail to K. Kavita, says she destroyed evidence. Pakistan's quote-unquote unknown gunman unveiled for the first time on television. Indian businessman framed as a raw agent by Pakistan, tracked down in Dubai. He speaks to us first. If the Prime Minister and the BJP are to get to anywhere close to the 400 par mission this election, then Tamil Nadu holds at least one of several keys that the BJP needs to crack. It's a high-stake prestige war in Tamil Nadu. In 10 days from now, as the first phase of 2024 general election begins, Tamil Nadu will also cast its vote. The Prime Minister's mission, TN, has been hitting top gear all year long. He will be in the state tomorrow, his 7th visit just so far this year. The BJP state chief Annamalai has set a 25% vote share target for the BJP. Will the party be able to make a mark? Take a look.
Tamil Nadu votes in the first phase of elections on April 19th. And as polling day draws closer, the top contenders are roaring in the battlefield. In an exclusive interview to India Today, Chief Minister Stalin made this declaration.
This time also 40 to 40. Definitely.
There is no Modi factor in Tamil Nadu.
மோடி வந்து எத்தனை தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு வராரோ அவ்வளோ கலவரத்துக்கு டிஎம்கேக்கு ப்ளஸ், இந்த எலெக்ஷனுக்கு எங்களுக்கு ப்ளஸ்.
Tamil Nadu has been a big focus area for the Prime Minister and BJP. Party National President JP Nadda was on a whirlwind tour of central and southern Tamil Nadu on Sunday, where he lashed out at the India bloc.
INDI alliance, this alliance is nothing but an alliance of family parties and corrupt parties that we have to understand. Prime Minister Modi has said that he will remove corruption, and on the India alliance, this is a conglomeration. This is a group of parties who are corrupt and they want to save the corrupt people, corrupt leaders. That is why they are working.
The Prime Minister will be back in the state on Tuesday, his 7th visit this year. He'll also be holding a roadshow in Chennai. Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai, who is in the Coimbatore electoral ring, has set an ambitious target of 25% vote share for the BJP.
Over the last many years, the party has put in a lot of hard work. We hope and pray that the Prime Minister's last 10 years of good governance and the image that PM Modi currently enjoys in Tamil Nadu and the party's organizational strength. Of course, we know we are taking on the Dravidian parties. At this time, we are very confident that increase in vote share will definitely 100% happen, no doubt about that. And seats also that the conversion will happen, especially in South Tamil Nadu, in the western region and in Chennai.
No, when you say phenomenal disproportionate vote share, what are you targeting? Is it 10%, 12%, 15%?
20% and above.
20% vote share.
Also in the fight is a fractured AIADMK that has broken its alliance with the BJP-led NDA.
ஒரு தவறான விமர்சனத்தை தொடர்ந்து வைத்து பல வாக்குறுதிகளை நாங்கள் ஆட்சிக்கு வந்தால் செய்வோம், நாடாளுமன்ற வெற்றி பெற்றால் செய்வோம் என்று ஒரு பொய் பிரச்சாரத்தை முன்வைத்து அதன் மூலமாக அவர்கள் வெற்றி பெற்றார். நாடாளுமன்றத்தில் அனைத்து அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்றம் எங்கள் கூட்டணியும் தமிழகத்தில் 39 இடம் பாண்டிச்சேரி ஒன்று 40 இடங்கள் வெற்றி பெறுவோம். இடைத்தேர்தல் விளம்பரத்தையும் அனைத்து அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகத்தால் வெற்றி பெறுவோம்.
The countdown has begun. Who will win State Award Tamil Nadu? Bureau Report, India Today.
And the only journalist to get a word out of M.K. Stalin, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister this election season before it kicks off, is consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai, who's just back from the beautiful state that I in fact call home. Tamil Nadu is where I grew up, so this is going to be an exciting election, a real fight. It looks like, Rajdeep, we're looking forward to the first episode of Elections on My Plate. That's going to be coming up in just a few days from now. But the big question on the ground, you met all the principals. M.K. Stalin says every time Modi comes there, it benefits the DMK. The Prime Minister is going to be going there for the 7th time so far this year. What's the sense that you got, Rajdeep?
The sense, Shiv, thank you very much. The sense I got, Shiv, is that the BJP is still playing catch-up in Tamil Nadu. Yes, it's far more visible than you've seen them in recent times. In Annamalai, they've got an energetic young leader. Prime Minister Modi has put a lot of effort there. But I only see this as of now as the BJP attempting to increase its vote share. I don't think that they've reached that stage where they can really translate vote share into seats. So the BJP is frankly still a party that is in the shadows of these two big Dravida giant parties. I mean, both the DMK and interestingly even the AIDMK, Shiv, are still very formidable on the ground. The DMK we know because it's in power. But the AIDMK, which some thought could implode post Jayalalitha, it has broken up into factions, but Palanisamy has managed to hold on together the core of the AIDMK. And unless that AIDMK crumbles, Shiv, I don't see the BJP occupying an opposition space or even emerging as a challenger for seats. Had there been an AIDMK BJP alliance, then I think the picture could have been different. But just the BJP fighting on its own, they got 3.7% of the vote, fighting 5 seats. Vote share may increase, but I don't see the BJP actually challenging these two parties. And therefore, in that Stalin interview, it was interesting that he maintained AIDMK is my challenger. My challenger is not the BJP. In fact, he does use the BJP and Prime Minister Modi to create this almost tension between Chennai and Delhi, making it a battle between centre versus state. And that to some extent, Shiv, could well play into the hands of a party like the DMK, which plays the politics of Tamil nationalism.
And they've played that, they've played the politics of Tamil nationalism very well and very effectively in the past as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this one actually plays out. The opposition space in Tamil Nadu, can the BJP make some kind of a mark? Is their eye really not so much here beyond just vote share, but the 2026 state assembly elections and beyond? Rajdeep, thank you very much for giving us that perspective. Always valuable, and we give a big priority to that here on India Today, to talk to the people who've reported from Tamil Nadu, and Rajdeep's been there and he will be there this election season as well. Thanks very much, Rajdeep. And like I said, all of our political team is across India right now, bringing you the very latest. Akshita Nandagopal is also live with me from Kanyakumari. That's where she's been reporting from. She's been doing her show, which you watched all this week. Akshita, you're in a really, really lovely part of the country. I, very much envy you. Enjoyed your show at 6 p.m. as well. Just about 10 days to go now for the first phase of elections. Tamil Nadu votes in that first phase. What's the mood on the ground? I understand that's a broad question, but MK Stalin, you heard what he said in that interview to Rajdeep. He says, we're going to sweep it this time. The DMK is going to get 40 seats.
Vanakkam, Shiv. And yes, MK Stalin, of course, made that big claim of 40 out of 40. And let's be clear, Shiv, that the lead definitely is to the DMK. The DMK is going to come #1 in Tamil Nadu. But can they ensure a complete sweep? That's definitely going to be hard. What I will agree with Stalin, however, from that interview is when the Chief Minister says that the fight is over the second place. #1 is sealed and it's for sure the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam.
Yeah.
On ground, at least in the last few days that I've been traveling, the few districts that I've been traveling, there is an edge to the DMK, but there is also a sense of anti-incumbency on the ground. So there is that space for opposition parties perhaps to kind of make inroads, and they're going to have to work hard on doing that. But at the moment, for people, even if they're showing, that they're a tad bit fed up with the government, they see no other option. They say that AIADMK isn't a party that has a future.
Yeah.
They're completely anti-BJP. So for these people, largely, there's no alternative to the DMK. So it's largely them who continue to vote for the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. I would say 30, 35 plus maybe even for the DMK, but 40 out of 40, definitely a tall ask.
Okay, looking difficult. And remember, there are 3 big alliances playing the game in Tamil Nadu, the Game of Thrones, as it were, in Tamil Nadu. Akshita, the Prime Minister, you mentioned him, he's going to be in Tamil Nadu tomorrow for the 7th time just this year. He's got even more visits planned on the 10th, 13th and the 14th. So there is no debate, no doubt that Tamil Nadu is, perhaps priority #1 as far as the Prime Minister's energies are concerned. Keeping in view the Prime Minister's efforts and the fact that he's made Tamil Nadu such a priority, how much of a dent will the BJP be able to make? Obviously, the BJP is being realistic, but they wish to make some kind of a mark.
Well, I must say this, Shiv, that compared to the assembly election that I was here last in 2021 for, to now, I see definitely a difference in the sense that there is a lot more talk of the BJP. It was unheard of to see BJP flags around. It was unheard of for people to openly say, na Modi ji ke support pan rahe. So, that seems to have kind of changed in the sense that people seem to be saying that, look, I vote for Modi, this is who I want. And they're not saying, I choose the BJP candidate, I'm not a fan of the, I'm not choosing the BJP because the candidate is good. They're actually saying that they like the BJP because of Prime Minister Modi, which is unheard of in Tamil Nadu. There's never been a sentiment. Largely, if any BJP leader did well in Tamil Nadu, it was always credited to that leader. It was said that, he had a good local presence and that's why he managed to perform. So there is a perception shift for the BJP, which is great because they've been trying to do that. They've been trying to ensure that they have Modi as the central figure. And that image around him of hate in Tamil Nadu, in some cases, has shifted. Has it completely shifted to ensure, that there is a Modi wave or a sweep? Absolutely not. The BJP has a long way to go for that, but I do believe that they will definitely make a small dent in Tamil Nadu this time.
Very interesting. Akshita, appreciate that input from the ground. Always useful in setting the context before, we debate a complicated place like Tamil Nadu. Don't forget to watch Akshita's daily show at 6 p.m. It's called Election Express. She's winding her way around the beautiful state of Tamil Nadu. Don't forget to watch her show every day at 6 p.m. Now for the NewsTrack discussion on whether the BJP can make a mark. Joining me live now, some of the best voices on Tamil Nadu politics and beyond. Narayan Lakshman, journalist and political analyst. Narayan, welcome. Good to see you. Rajat Sethi, political commentator. Welcome, Rajat. Sumant Raman, political analyst. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Raman. And Ramakrishna Upadhyay, political analyst. Thank you, sir. Good to see you again. Narayan, let me come straight to you first. Whatever happens at the end of this, the focus of today's discussion is on whether the BJP can make a mark. We've seen what Chief Minister Stalin has said, every time the Prime Minister comes, it only benefits the DMK. The DMK is going to sweep this election with 39 out of 39 seats. Given that, whatever happens, it will not be for a lack of effort on the BJP's part. And you've got Annamalai saying they're looking at a 20+% vote share, etc. You've got Prashant Kishore saying something else, double-digit vote share. What's your perspective? Can the BJP make some kind of a respectable mark in Tamil Nadu?
Well, Shiv, I think your question is spot on actually, because the BJP has been working assiduously from the grassroots level right to the top, bringing in big personalities, the Prime Minister himself, and of course, as you said, Annamalai leading the charge. And I think definitely their efforts are likely to lead to a impact in terms of vote share. The question, I think even Rajdeep's report and other reports you've been carrying earlier suggest is, will they get any seats? And I think that's always going to be a sort of, they're going to be reaching to do that, because let's not forget, for the best part of half a century, this has been a state ruled by Dravidian parties. Yes. And forget about the philosophy and the ideology, but even their fundraising networks at the grassroots village level are extremely strong, and so is their vote mobilization network. So the BJP has to actually play the long game, which I believe they are doing. And it begins with vote share. But I think their hope is that over successive elections, it will build up into better and better numbers with seats. And part of that, of course, is the question of the ideology and the philosophy and the clashes that have happened there. And that's where you're going to see the really interesting conversations in terms of how does Dravidianism position itself vis-a-vis Hindutva or the politics of the BJP more broadly. Yes. And what kind of innovation happens in that space.
Very interesting, because the long game as far as the BJP is concerned is always something to take into account when someone looks when we look at a difficult state like the Tamil Nadu for the BJP. But the BJP is ambitious. The BJP, like Narayan just said, is putting in the work, and not only not only optically, but also it's building its organization, it's building its cadres at the grassroots level. Dr. Sumant Raman, given the BJP is putting in the work, it's also a realistic party. Here you're hearing about double-digit vote share, etc. That the investments being made in this election are more tuned towards perhaps either the next election or the state elections in Tamil Nadu in 2026. But having said all that, the BJP must be wanting to make some kind of a visible, big takeaway mark in this election as well. Can it do that is the question, Dr. Raman.
Shiv, I think that there are two issues here. One, the BJP is going to increase its vote share. That's a no-brainer. Now, the question is, by how much is the only thing that we are arguing about. In fact, about 8 months ago, I predicted that the BJP would get a double-digit vote share in the 24 election, and I still stick by it. They will get double-digit vote share. That's not too difficult to predict. Now, what is difficult to predict is the seat share. How many seats are they going to pick up? And at this point of time, I honestly cannot see the BJP pick up seats. Maybe one here, you never know. In 1 or 2 seats, there could be candidates who have that extra edge and manage to come through. But across the state, this opinion polls predicting 5 seats and 4 seats and all that, I'm sure that's not going to happen. Now, the point really is that the AIADMK, and I think Rajdeep alluded to that, the AIADMK was expected to roll over and sort of implode. Now, that's not happening. On the ground, in fact, inputs that I've received from the Kongu region, particularly in seats like Erode, in seats like Tirupur, in seats like Namakkal, actually indicate the AIADMK has its nose ahead in some of these seats, ahead of the DMK at this point of time. It may not remain that way till the end of the campaign, till voting day. But I'm saying that, this was completely unexpected. And people were saying, will the AIADMK get little more than BJP? Will BJP get higher vote share than AIADMK? Clearly, the AIADMK, at least in 20 to 25 seats, is putting up a contest. They're not going to win them. They're not going to win most of them, that's clear. But at least in 3 to 5 seats, they are running neck and neck with the DMK candidates. At the moment, BJP, which had its nose perhaps slightly ahead in Tirunelveli, and yesterday, or day before yesterday's cash seizure of 4.5 crore, of 3.99 crores has hurt that candidate now.
No, absolutely. So
some extent-
the BJP, the BJP's work is of course hugely complicated by an AIA-DMK that has simply not evaporated or splintered into too many small pieces, and therefore this actually poses an advantage for the DMK. But Rajat, what do you think about the fact that the BJP is putting in the work is a given. It's very, very visible. The Prime Minister's visits. But perhaps the most visible aspect of the BJP's work in Tamil Nadu seems to be hinged around the charismatic figure of Annamalai. He's the man on which this entire campaign has in some ways been mounted. I'm not saying the BJP is not doing the work on the ground, but if it needed to find a charismatic popular face, it has certainly done so with Annamalai. Do you think, whenever Annamalai speaks, he speaks in specifics. He talks about vote share. He talks about how he thinks this vote share is going to convert into seat share, etc. How do you think, what kind of a mark, in your view, could the BJP make?
Annamalai has certainly captured the imagination, most certainly of people outside of Tamil Nadu for sure, because it is one politician who can connect Tamil Nadu with the rest of the country. So far, there has been a huge disconnect. So he has really aced at that. And he has put tremendous amount of effort in Tamil Nadu. I mean, what do you expect? A new entrant, just a 4-year-old entrant into Tamil Nadu and Tamil Nadu's complex politics. And he has certainly created a dent. But what happens is, and I'm just talking more of a real politics sense, that he brought in ambitious goals before BJP. And because of, one person leading the party forward, he did not perhaps, account for AIDMK's sudden rise. What AIDMK and the two leaves has been consistently holding almost 99% of its cadre, and still its cadre base runs deep into the grassroots, has around 2 crore numbers of cadres. Missing that point and sort of breaking that alliance has really costed the combined NDA with ADMK part of that, which was together till just a few months back. DMK, this is one point which has not been covered so far, Shiv, and let me tell you, every single leader of DMK, right from Kanimoli to Stalin to then everybody has been caught on the streets by people, asked questions, and hooted and sent back. Every single leader of DMK. DMK is still holding on to ground only because the opposition is divided between BJP and ADMK. This is the sole reason. Had they been united, I can tell you, and I've been in Chennai for the past 3 months, and I can tell you, have they been united, DMK would have been wiped out from the state, and Stalin would have been running a lame duck government for the remaining 2 years. Now, what has happened so far is that BJP has a solid alliance with PMK. BJP alone will be able to get around 12 to 13% vote, along with the PMK of 5 to 6%. It will reach to a number of around 18 to 20%. You will see a considerable decline in the DMK's vote share. It used to be 50% in 2019 elections. It will come down between 35 to 38%. And you will see ADMK under EPS. I mean, EPS is a grassroots leader. He has risen under the shadows of Amma. After Amma moving out, everybody believed that he doesn't have the charisma to be able to pull the organization, this big an organization, forward. But that party went through a democratic metamorphosis. Metamorphoses are always bloody and painful, but he sailed and pulled the organization through. And this is where I think some miscalculation happened, where BJP is not with ADMK. They just thought that this is going to evaporate, which didn't happen. This is the reason why we are seeing DMK still leading and BJP and ADMK trailing.
But the thing is, this divided opposition is a reality, and it's what the parties have to finally play with, and the DMK will 100%. Undoubtedly see it as a blessing, because a splintered AIA-DMK being kind of overwhelmed by the BJP was possibly part of the game plan in the wake of Jayalalitha's death in 2016. But R.K. Upadhyay, I want to bring you in, and Dr. Raman, I know you want to respond on that declining DMK share point that Rajat made, but I'll just bring in R.K. Upadhyay for a comment on the BJP's own reputation. We've talked about share and numbers and things like that. Ultimately we will only know on June the 4th. But in terms of the BJP's own reputation, political reputation in Tamil Nadu, the headwinds that the party faces, an upper caste party, Hindi-speaking party, outsiders, who will destroy federalism and destroy identity and nationalism in Tamil Nadu. Has the BJP managed in this political campaign, being fronted by the Prime Minister and Annamalai on the ground, has it succeeded in any way in your view? Or do you think it will succeed in some ways?
Shiv, I think, Tamil Nadu is one very, very interesting state because the pendulum swings wildly from one side to the other. As we have seen, from one election to the other, it's a complete change around. In 2014, Jayalalitha won 37 out of 39.
Yeah.
And then in 2019, ADMK just got one. Of course, Jayalalitha gone away. So ADMK, DMK was nothing in 2014, but then they swung back. So this time, if Stalin says he's going to win 40 seats, he's certainly not going to, because he's given 8 seats to the Congress party and a few other allies. So I would say that BJP has made a lot of ground in the last 5 years, and the onus is on Annamalai to deliver, because I think he was largely responsible breaking the alliance with the AIDMK. His point of view was that, AIDMK is as corrupt as DMK, and we need to project, Modi, who is a shining armor with somebody with a clean image and all that. So let's go with that. So they have taken the long road. I don't know the long road, whether they'll help them in this election or the next election. But, it's a choice that they've made. And probably that is one reason why, as the previous speaker is saying, they may not win the seats. They may, increase the vote share, but that's not going to show up in the seats. So even if they win 1 or 2, that will be the maximum that they'll get. But, the point is, they were looking at 400 par. And unless it comes from the south, you have just 29 out of 130 seats. So unless you make it 55, 60, then, 400 par is going to be very, very far. So that's one of the reasons why I think all of the efforts being made. And as you mentioned about, the Hindi, Hindustani, that very much is there, and they're not going to get out of that.
Yeah, that's
the Tamilians are not going to accept BJP for its, Hindi imposition kind of this thing, and especially Amit Shah, once in a while making this kind of a statement that Hindi is the Rashtra Bhasha, and that doesn't go well in the south at all.
No, absolutely.
I don't know why
the Hindi issue.
And every time he does that, I think the 2-3% of votes BJP.
No, that's a stubborn issue for sure. And having grown up in Tamil Nadu, I can tell you that it's an issue that people feel very, very strongly about, and perhaps even rightly so. Narayan, coming back to you, Dr. Raman, I'm coming to you. Narayan, the Prime Minister and the BJP have made corruption a big issue. Corrupt dynasts, the DMK, versus this, upright young IPS officer who hung up his uniform to take on the system and the state, which is a very compelling kind of narrative. And we've seen in the past in elections where sometimes narrative, charisma and things like that, kind of trump the real politic and the general way that things have happened over the many years. It's easy to be swayed by it from the outside, all these hundreds of kilometers away sitting in Delhi, and for others. But what is that narrative really like on the ground? Does it have any traction and resonance?
That's a tough one, Shiv, because on the one hand, I wish I didn't have to say this, but the state is very accustomed to corruption and on a grand scale, the grand larceny. And it's not just the DMK or the ADMK. All parties have engaged in it. I think where it pinches the common man and woman, the citizen who's engaging with the government for whatever public services, that's the point at which it really hurts.
Right.
But I think, so long as, you could look at the previous era of Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi on either side, so long as welfare services were being provided, mass welfare schemes of different kinds, and that is why Tamil Nadu, in a way, pioneered this way of allocating resources. So long as that was happening, it was a policy of, let them do what they want.
Okay.
And I think what the BJP might be trying to do in projecting this cleaner image is that, look, we are presenting an alternative vision where we will tackle the corruption issue head on, and that is the way we deliver growth and efficiency and so forth. I think that is the narrative, and that is a change in the way of thinking for the Tamil people and the Tamil voters. The question is, will they go for that, or will they fall back to the same old model, which, may be running out of steam as the Dravidian movement itself has changed so much in its values since the 1960s.
Well, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, there couldn't be a bigger, mission or an objective than displacing the Dravidian parties. Dr. Sumantraman, I have 30 seconds left on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, quick word.
No,
and if I have some time,
point,
I'll give Rajat the last word.
Very, very quick point. The point that Mr. Upadhyay made, the AIADMK had no intention of breaking this alliance. Mr. Annamalai single-handedly broke it repeatedly, and I know for a fact the AIADMK was actually going out with slogans saying Modi for the center and EPS for the state. I mean, they couldn't have been clearer in their articulation. And this gentleman went out there and systematically demolished the alliance to the extent that they were forced out.
Okay.
Many of us said at that time that if they really wanted to break the alliance, the time to do it was probably at the end of this year or maybe in 25, a year before the assembly elections. But now that he's done it, I think that what you will see in hindsight, again, had the alliance continued, my gut feel, seeing the anti-incumbency against the DMK government, is they could have picked up easily 15 to 20 seats.
Which is the point that Rajat also made. Rajat, last word I'll give to you. 15 seconds. Rajat.
No, I agree. See, certain calculations are for a shorter horizon and certain calculations for longer horizon. I can only sort of fathom and understand that BJP has taken the choice for going for the longer horizon. But, you never know. The way ADMK has really reorganized itself, they might be the contender in 2026, looking at how DMK's key ministers, half of them are in jail. The other half are getting booted by the public. I see less hope on Stalin holding on to power. He himself is frail. He's weakening by the day. I think Stalin will be on his way out still too soon, but he has weakened considerably.
Well, if you needed a fascinating state to look closely at in 2024, well, look no further than Tamil Nadu. It's going to be a lot of fun tracking it. All of our biggest journalists are on the ground in Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much, Narayan, Dr. Raman, Rajat, and R.K. Upadhyay for joining me on this NewsTrack discussion. As always, very, very illuminating as well. Remember, India's #1 election destination is India today, and all of the states are being covered with equal vigor. Now, time for a big India Today exclusive. There's been a big war of words about the island of Kachativu between India and Sri Lanka being allegedly ceded to Sri Lanka by the Indira Gandhi government. But did you know that Gwadar, Pakistan's third largest port, was actually offered to India before it became a part of Pakistan? An offer which the Indian government under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru actually declined in the 1950s. Take a look at what happened.
Once a humble fishing town, now one of the most strategically vital deep water ports. A crucial link on the Arabian Sea in the China-Pakistan economic corridor. A $60 billion project with a network of roads, railways, pipelines and power plants originating from China's western Xinjiang region. A signature infrastructure program of Chinese leader Xi Jinping. As it turns out, the hammer-shaped village, under Omani rule for almost 200 years until the 1950s, was first actually offered to India before it ended up in Pakistani possession in 1958. But unlike Kashmir, the acceptance of Tibet as a part of Chinad Kachativu, the turning down of Gwadar offer remains largely unknown and didn't enter India's political discourse till now.
In my long years of service, and I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I have not come across any such kind of conversation, speculation anywhere so far, and I don't even know if there is any documentary evidence of such a thing have happened.
But several strategic analysts believe Oman extended the Gwadar offer to India verbally, which was declined by the then Prime Minister.
I can tell you that India has no intention.
The decision to decline the Omani offer may have been influenced by various factors. Had India accepted it, Gwadar would have been an Indian territory surrounded by Pakistan, without any overland access, a situation akin to Pakistan logistical challenges with East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. Almost 65 years later, some experts, however, regard the decline of the valuable gift from the Sultan of Oman as a diplomatic oversight.
The King of Oman offered Jawaharlal Nehru this port, but Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru refused. The second offer was given to Pakistan, which bought it for £3 million. It was one of the biggest tragic blunders that Nehru had committed. Today, Gwadar port is the third largest port of Pakistan. Gwadar port is epicenter of Chinese activity. I fail to understand that how a person who is Prime Minister of a country can be so short-sighted.
The BJP has labelled the Gwadar rejection as a Nehruvian disaster. The surrender of the uninhabited 1.15 square kilometre Kachitivu island to Sri Lanka during Indira Gandhi's tenure subsequent to her father's rejection of Oman's Gwadar offer has regained political attention amidst the Lok Sabha campaign domestically and amidst China's expansionist actions in the South Asia region. Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now is Pramit Pal Chaudhary, is head of the India practice at the Eurasia Group and one of India's most well-regarded and well-respected commentators on foreign affairs and diplomacy. Pramit, welcome. Good to have you. Thanks for your time here on the NewsTrack. We're talking about the Gwadar offer of the 1950s, Pramit. And, most people will be wrapping their heads around, the fact that Gwadar belonged to Oman even after Pakistan's independence, and the whole Balochistan issue is not something that most people have in their active memories. But that amazingly it was offered to India, and that India declined. Can you help us understand that, Pramit?
So yes, so the Gwadar was actually controlled by the Sultanate of Oman. It was actually an understanding between the Khan of Kalat and the royal family of Oman that was actually negotiated a few hundred years ago. At one point, it seems that the Khan of Kalat had offered the port to a member of the Oman family who was attempting to be the Sultan, with the understanding that if he succeeded, he would return the port back to the Khan of Kalat, who was effectively the ruler of Balochistan. But as it is that Sultan did come to power in Oman, but decided to hold on to the port. And then, of course, when the British arrived, they just said, okay, let's just keep this under the wraps for the time being. But effectively, in 1947, Pakistan is created. Oman still held Gwadar, and it was officially part of their territory. The dispute between the Khan of Kalat in effect and Oman effectively became one between Pakistan and Oman instead. But the Sultan still held sovereignty over that, and he offered that. He decided, it was at that point a small fishing village, basically. He offered that to Nehru, probably in about 1956. And probably as a verbal offer from our understanding. I have talked to two diplomats who are, one a former ambassador of Oman and another a very senior diplomat who had some knowledge of this. But Nehru turned it down. He, at the probably recommendation, I believe, of his foreign secretary then, Shubimal Dutt, and possibly his intelligence chief, B.N. Mullik. They both concluded that this was indefensible for India. It was too far away. India did not have the air and sea power to sustain a supply. Yeah. And I would argue probably that Nehru at this point was still trying to develop some sort of a policy, a friendly policy with Pakistan. But as it is, that didn't work out later on in the future. But in 1958, the Sultan of Oman then turned around and offered it to Pakistan, who bought it for £3 million. The word was that the offer to India had been substantially less, but we don't know the exact amount.
Why has this not been, a bigger issue or a talking point since then. Can you help us understand that? Is that because of a lack of records? Is it because the offer was verbal and there's no sort of record of an offer having been made? Because I imagine, I mean, thinking about it now, the Gwadar being offered to India is huge. And, we don't really hear anyone talking about it. We're talking about Kachativu, which happened in the 1970s. But, here comes Gwadar, which is in many ways infinitely bigger.
Well, today Gwadar, of course, is big. In those days, Gwadar was almost inconsequential. But yes, I think partly, as you mentioned, it was verbal. Partly because it was never really formally put on paper, even as a negotiation. I would suspect somewhere in the files of the government there must have been some correspondence by Nehru, his foreign secretary, and so on.
Yes.
Some sort of record is hidden there somewhere. But yes, after it was done, the rejection, it was rejected. The Indian government basically forgot about it. I would suspect over the years, partly because of the tendency anyway of the Indian system, once something is classified, almost never to declassify it. We have a 50-year rule, which makes it difficult to get those documents out. But in addition, I don't think it was something that the government of India, even the foreign ministry, would necessarily want to come out in public. It's in hindsight, it looks like a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time, it was probably seen as a sensible move.
Very interesting. And my final question, Pramit, is the context of the Kachativu politics that we've seen playing out. How does that play as far as India's relations with countries like Sri Lanka are concerned? Are these politically risky things? I mean, these are happening in the heat and dust of an election. But is there a risk as far as India's relations are concerned with countries like Sri Lanka?
I would say yes to some degree. I mean, there will be a group in Sri Lanka, let's say the left-wing JVP supporters, who are very anti-Indian and suspicious of us, and will say, look, this is an example of imperialist India, big bullying. But keep in mind that nobody in this debate that I have seen or heard has said that India should break the treaty with Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
The agreement BJP may say it's a mistake, but they've never said that, therefore, we must negate the treaty. In other words, India's word as a nation of a treaty that we have signed and agreed to is not being broken or being called upon in question. I'll just give you a small example when I say this. When India and the US began negotiating the nuclear deal, the Americans carried out an internal study because they were nervous. They said, if we give India an exemption, will India actually follow their commitment? Because nuclear is, in a different scale. Their conclusion, and an American diplomat said, is that India's record of obeying and following what it signs was so good, it was actually better than that of the United States. And they actually said, if India signs a piece of paper, we can be guaranteed that this is one country that takes its word as its honor.
Very, very interesting and illuminating as well. Pramit Pal Chaudhary, thanks for giving us your time and helping us understand an issue most people, probably hadn't even heard of Gwadar before today. But thanks for putting that into perspective for us. Appreciate it, Pramit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Gwadar is in Pakistan. It could have been a part of India, but we're still talking about Pakistan because separate from the Gwadar port, much has been said and written about something that you're familiar with if you've been watching India Today: unknown gunmen bumping off India's enemies in Pakistan. Well, it just so happens that a man named by the Pakistani government as being one of these agents orchestrating assassinations of terrorists in Pakistan is a businessman who lives in Dubai. And guess what? India Today tracked him down and put him on camera to face some questions. Take a look. A series of India's most wanted terrorists dropping dead mysteriously in Pakistan, eliminated by so-called unknown gunmen in cold blood and out of the blue. The killings have struck fear in the minds of the Pakistani terror establishment and deep state. As you've seen, they've only been blaming India for the targeted killings, specifically India's external intelligence agency, the Research and Analysis Wing, or RAW. Even more specifically, Pakistan has been pointing fingers at this man, in fact literally naming him, Indian businessman Ashok Kumar, calling him the handler of the unknown gunman, and even released a picture of his passport.
Law enforcement agencies tracked the killer, Muhammad Abdullah Ali, and arrested him on 15th September 2023 while boarding a flight at Jinnah International Airport, Karachi. Interrogation revealed that Muhammad Abdullah Ali was recruited and guided by Indian agents Ashok Kumar Anand and Yogesh Kumar.
But now, in a world exclusive, India Today has traced this man who's apparently giving sleepless nights to Pakistan. Indian businessman Ashok Kumar has hit back at Pakistan on camera for dragging his name through what he calls a conspiracy, saying that these wild allegations by Islamabad have put his life in danger.
मैं तो जानता तक नहीं है, मैं किसी को भी नहीं जानता हूँ वहाँ पे, ना ही कोई इधर कोई किसी को जानता हूँ। मैं बिजनेसमैन हूँ दुबई में, मैं अपना काम करता हूँ, काम धंधे पे रहता हूँ। बस ये गलत है, मेरे साथ में हुआ गलत है, और मुझे इस बात का बहुत दुख है कि क्योंकि मैं बिजनेसमैन हूँ और मुझे जबरदस्ती का ये थ्रेट आया जैसा होगा, ऐसा लग रहा है मेरे को।
In hiding, Ashok Kumar told India Today that his Pakistani staff, Muhammad Ali, who was taking care of his internet cafe, has been held in Pakistan.
मुझे बताया गया कुछ फंडिंग किया गया, तो फंडिंग तो ऐसा कोई नहीं, हमने तो कोई चीज को नहीं किया। तो हमारा स्टाफ था पहले, उसने कभी कुछ क्या किया मुझे तो उसका आइडिया कोई नहीं है। वो पहले मेरा स्टाफ था।
क्या नाम था?
वो मोहम्मद अली सफीर ऐसा नाम से जानते थे उसको, बस इससे ज्यादा तो कोई नहीं जानता सर मैं।
Pakistan, meanwhile, is completely spooked by the relentless killings of anti-India terrorists by unknown gunmen. Top Pakistani terrorists like the Lashkar-e-Taiba's chief Hafiz Saeed and Jaish-e-Mohammad's Maulana Masood Azhar are underground and nowhere to be seen. While the ISI has beefed up security of several Kashmiri terrorists, other terror operatives have hired personal security. That's the level of fear. British media had recently quoted Pakistan blaming India for the killings of terrorists hiding on its soil. While India has officially issued a denial, the fear in Pakistan is very, very real. With Arvind Ojha, Bureau Report, India Today. Well, that's it on NewsTrack. Thanks so much for watching. See you at the same time tomorrow.